to discuss is growth and development. I think this is very important topic of paper 2, and growth and development under educational psychology, which we are covering today. So growth and development. So now before I jump into this topic of what I have prepared for you, my presentation, I would like to know from you, what do you understand by growth and development? What is your understanding? How you understand? Is it the same thing or is it both are different? So who would like to answer? What is growth according to you? And what is development? Is it one or the same or they are different? You can unmute yourself and give the answer for this question, because my session is going to be like that. It will be more of interactive. I'll be asking questions and we'll be going ahead. Dr. Lalit, have you put on the recording?
Yes, I have
Fine.
already.
All right, fine. Yes, anybody would like to tell me before I tell what it is? I would like to know from you. What is growth and development? I think you guys are not in mood to answer, is it? This morning. Yes. Do you know anything about, are you hearing this word first time in your life?
No, sir.
Okay. So what do you understand by growth?
Growth is a physical development,
Okay,
physical change, and the
oh,
development is a change, cognitive change, like overall personality change. Just
okay.
like physical, emotional changes. These all
Okay.
changes are come in development, and growth means increase in weight, height, physical development is
Yes.
a
Yes,
lifelong
yes. Yes, yes.
changes in the physical appearance of the body.
Okay. Whatever you have been telling is right. I think it's both connected with the growth and development. So again, I think based on, to add on to what you have already said, growth and development, they both are interconnected, but they both are different concepts altogether. But when we hear this word growth and development in our day-to-day life, it sounds similar, and it like the meaning also sounds very similar. But if we look at the intensity of this both growth and development, or growth and development of, or we there's another term is used for this human development. And this human development and the growth and development, it goes through over the lifespan of a life, is it? Right from the time we are born, it's like, I would say, it's a, as Dr. Lalit always talks about, it's a womb to tomb process, is it? As already some of you have explained it, growth stops at particular time. you know for example, your height, as you tell, your body structure, your height grows to a particular age and it stops, is it? Let's, for example, I give you the example of your hand. Your hand grows, like my hand have grown to a particular age. Now it will not grow anymore physically. It got the structure, that is growth. But the development, if I talk about, I have recently learned to play piano. I have recently learned to play something else with my fingers. That means development has more to do with the cognitive development, and also with the functions that we, it's more of the features and the functions are more connected with development, because the development goes on and on. It's a continuous process, and growth has more to do, as some of you have already mentioned, growth has more to do, ये जो growth होती है, ये मोस्टली हमारे फिजिकल ऑर्गन्स के साथ कनेक्टेड होती है. बट अगेन दे आर इंटरकनेक्टेड अगेन. जब आपकी ग्रोथ हो रही है बॉडी में, उसी टाइम पे आपकी डेवलपमेंट भी हो रही है. सिट ये नहीं कि ग्रोथ हो रही है, जब ग्रोथ रुकेगी तब डेवलपमेंट स्टार्ट होगी. नो, दे go hand in hand, but the growth stops at a particular time and the development continues to grow, continues to develop. So that's what. Now moving on to the next slide. Now let's understand this concept growth and development. It's same thing what I've been already explained. Human beings grow, change, and adjust themselves to their environment is the focus of development. Behavior as also the concepts, principles, theories of growth and development. Human being is never static. We see, our life is not static, it's always dynamic. Is it? Dynamic means it's keep on changing. Maybe that's the reason the person you are today, you will not be the same person tomorrow. There will be some change, either a positive change or negative change, whatever a change, there will be a change. That means we are always developing and growing, whether passively or actively. Sometimes you don't do anything to grow yourself, but you just be with the people who are negative and you will learn their language by automatically. कई बार होता है ना आपके बच्चे, कई बार sometimes the kids are, when you send your kids out somewhere, they are playing with some other kids and आपने कुछ उनको सिखाया नहीं है मगर वो कुछ नया सीख के आ गए, and one fine day you realize यार कि मेरे बच्चे ने ये कहाँ से सीखा, मैंने तो सिखाया नहीं. That means you haven't taught, but he has learned it just being over there. That means what development or growth, they are the, it's a dynamic process. It's not a static. From conception to death, even before birth, growth and development start developing. अभी देखो कि जब when a woman conceives, I always talk about that. हम कई बार सोचते हैं कि हम कब पेरेंट बनते हैं. Usually when I take seminar for the parents on positive parenting, on effective parenting, I always talk about this concept. क्योंकि पेरेंट्स को लगता है कि वो पेरेंट्स तब बनते हैं जब एक बच्चे का जन्म होता है. Is it? No. The moment a woman conceived within her womb, it was a single cell. It was just a fetus. That is the time you have become parents. That is the time the growth and development process have already started. I've seen many of the parents, they don't take care of those 9 months, which are very crucial, which is called as a prenatal stage in psychology. When we talk about in the developmental psychology, it is called as a prenatal stage. Prenatal stage is before birth. Before birth, 9 months time is the time where the major, your brain wiring is taking place. Your brain is developing, your body organs are developing and growing from small cell to a fetus to there's a whole organs are being developed. Is it? Everything is being developed inside. And when those things are developed, the kind of emotions a mother is having, the kind of environment she is into, the kind of stress she is experiencing, everything is connected with her, the development and growth of the child. That's why sometimes we see a child is a gifted child. See, the child was never gifted. It is the mother who made the child different. Now, if I talk about, I always take the example of my own daughter. I have a daughter who is 2 years and 9 months. When my wife conceived, that time, she decided to give up the phone. She did not use the phone for 2.5 years. Just recently, when my daughter became 2 years, that's when she got a smartphone. Not because I can't buy and give her or she can't buy it. It was a choice. Is it? And the more time she spent reading the scripture, positive, some books or some word of God, or we can say some good music, so we used to have a lot of positive conversations. So because of that, when my daughter is born, she is completely a different child, which everybody acknowledges in our family and outside anywhere. Whenever she meets anybody, they see something different in her. They see something different in our development and growth. She is being in 2 years and 9 months, but if you talk to her, she holds the maturity of a 7-year-old child. In her conversations, in her grasping power, how this growth and development took place on a different level only because of the what we see here. These are progressive changes in response to environmental conditions. the kind of environment we provide, you know, the kind of environment we provide, it's very important, you know. So nowadays, if you see, if you look at around you, how many children are experiencing difficulties? They have learning problems. They have this problem. When these problems are developed, you know, there are many children. You will be studying a topic in your B.Ed called a children with special needs. You know, so how these children are developing all these problems? It only happening at the time of prenatal stage, when there are so many things that are taking place during that time. You understood how this growth and development is not connected when the child is born, when the child goes to school. No, it's connected when you think of having a child. Even it goes before, you know, even before husband and wife come together, you know, before that the process begins. Have you conceived the child in your mind or not? Is it before the child is conceived in the womb, before it has to be conceived in your mind? Is it? There is a great psychological connection to that. You know, I've seen many of the children are born just like that. I've seen, you know, sometimes the parents are not able to accept, क्योंकि उनको पता नहीं था कि a woman is pregnant, my wife is pregnant, and by the time वो acceptance आती है कि इसको रखना है, क्या करना है, whether should we, you know, abort करें, क्या करें, by time is already gone. So child is going through the time, he is experiencing all the negative vibes coming from the parents कि उनको acceptance ही नहीं है. Are you with me, guys?
Yes, sir.
You know, does it make, because see what I'm talking here, I'm not just sticking on to what is given in the subject, because most of you, or some of you may be mothers here, some of you are going to be, you know, so I'm just sharing something which will benefit you in your life.
Yes, sir.
You know, this is not for you. You can pass exam just by reading the notes sir has given you the book. But here what we are giving is more than, it's like beyond, learning beyond books, I would say that, you know. So where we are talking about life, and I'm taking you deep this concept. That's the reason Dr. Lalit and me have a vision. You know what we have a vision कि sometime हम B.Ed तो कर लेते हैं, M.Ed भी कर लेते हैं, मगर हमने किस intention के साथ की, that's what matters. कि have we just done B.Ed and M.Ed just for the sake of enhancing your qualification, or enhance the quality of your life? If you have not enhanced the quality of your life by upgrading your education, you know, it's equal to you have not done the B.Ed or M.Ed. These topics are purposely introduced. I hope the growth and development is very much clear.
Yes, sir.
Now moving on to, let's understand the some of the meaning and growth का जो उसको meaning को understand करते हैं. As I've already explained, but I'll just quickly rush through the slides. The term growth and development are often used interchangeably. Actually, they are conceptually different. Neither growth nor development takes place by itself. Now let's understand growth first. Growth refers to quantitative changes. Quantitative changes in size, which include physical changes in height, weight, size, and internal organs, what we already discussed, etc. As an individual develops, old features like baby fat, hair, teeth, etc. Now, these are also connected with them. Now, growth involves changes in the body portion as well as overall structure in the weight. The term growth thus indicates an increase in bodily dimensions. However, the rate of growth refers to one part of the body to the other. Clear? So I'm not explaining because these terms are self-explanatory. I have already given a much deeper explanation to it. Now let's understand development. Development, by contrast, refers to qualitative changes taking place simultaneously with quantitative changes of growth. As I told, they are not different. Same time, growth is taking place. Simultaneously, there is a development also taking place. Are we together, guys? So it is defined as a progressive series of orderly coherence changes. So what these are what? These are the progressive series of change. Progressively. It goes progressively. You know, now, for example, here I given a hand grows up to certain age, but the functions of hand continue to develop, like learn to play piano. Example I already given you. Thus, development may be defined as a series of overall changes in an individual due to emergence of modified structure and functions, that they are outcome of the interactions and exchanges between organism and its environment. So, development is more to do with the modified structure, functions, interactions. You see, no, sometimes you have learned something, but you have the power in you. You have the to learn. There are a lot of things we have learned as a child, which we realize that they are not good. Then what we do, we unlearn, is it? And then we relearn. So that means the development takes place. Even if we have learned something, you have the power to unlearn and relearn the same stuff. Are we together? Does it make sense, guys? Is it clear? Growth and development concept is clear? Meaning is clear?
Yes, sir.
If it is
Yes,
clear,
sir.
either you can say verbally yes, or you can say yes in the chat box, so that I get the confirmation. All right.
Fine, sir.
Great. So let's proceed now. Now let's move on to the next our concept, that is the principles of growth and development. Now we are going to look at some of the principles. If you look at here, development follows a pattern or a sequence. Development tends to proceed from head onwards. According to this principle, the child first gains control over the head, then arms, and then the legs. Now, those of you who have small children or you have seen small kids, is it? Initially, if you look at the infant who is just a 1 month or just born, it does not have a control over the head even, is it? आप उसको हेड से पकड़ना पड़ता है ऐसे, इसको इज इट ऐसे पकड़ना ना बच्चों, आपको लगता है कि जब अपने छोटे बच्चे को पकड़ना है उसको ऐसे पकड़ना है, उसको हेड से नीचे पकड़ के फिर ऐसे पकड़ना है. कुछ होता है ना, लोग उसको ऐसे पकड़ लेते हैं और हेड उसका नीचे ले जाता है ऐसे, इज इट? सो दैट मींस व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट पोर्शन ऑफ द बॉडी दैट गेन्स कंट्रोल? पहले उसका हेड. आफ्टर, लाइक आई हैव सीन माय डॉटर ईच एंड एवरी मूव, so I can actually very much relate. I have seen her development process taking place in front of my eyes, because I left my job when my daughter was born. I got into my own business so that I could spend more time. I could see her growing. Is it? So if you look at here, पहले control कहाँ पे आया? Head के, and then he starts having a control, and then on the legs. It's a progressive from the head onwards. The development goes on. Now, development proceeds from general to specific. Now, what is general to specific? If you look at, the newborn infant moves the entire body. Now, if you look at, as the child is small, it cannot move a single portion of his body, is it? अगर उसका hand move करेगा तो वो पूरे move करेगा, is it? मगर if you look at later on as the child grows, it can move in the finger. जैसे कि there are gross motor skills and fine motor skills you must be aware about, no? Gross motor skills होती है when you grab something with with your hand, gross. Fine motor skills, the few things that you do with your fingers, like picking up a stone, picking up a button with both the fingers. This is called a fine motor skill. And when you holding a glass is a gross motor skill, when you have a grip, is it clear? Now development continues it's a continuous process. Growth continues from moment time of conception until individual reaches to maturity, certain age, but the development continues. different concepts of growth develop at different times. Neither all the body parts grow at the same time, is it? We have seen all our body parts don't grow at the same time, or nor do all aspects of mental growth proceed equally. We have seen sometime the child's body grows very, कभी होता है कि बच्चा बहुत एकदम से बड़ा हो गया है, is it? As the if you look at the hormonal changes, both men and women, both boys and girls, in teenager, girls tend to grow faster. Their bodily growth is faster. They attain puberty quite early as compared to men or the teenage boys, is it? So same way, and now boys sometimes they gain the physical maturity first. Their growth happens much earlier, but the development happens little late. ਉਹ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਐਡਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਉਹਦੀ ਹਜੇ ਵੀ ਅਕਲ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗਿੱਟਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਆ, ਹੈ ਨਾ? they say हो ना कि it's a very plain way of ना कि इतना कि that means he has grown physically. growth तो हो गई उसकी, देख तो कब बड़ा होगा ना. हम कई बार बच्चों को ब्लेम आता है कि कब और कितना बड़ा होगे बताओ, है ना, और कितना ग्रो करोगे. तो दैट मीन्स वो उसकी सिर्फ इस ग्रोथ को देख रहे हैं, उन्होंने डेवलपमेंट को नहीं देखा. Are we together? So we need to understand that every child in your class, though they are of the same age, if you have 20 students or 50 students in your class, all of them have a different rate or different pace of growth and development. And that's the reason there is a lot of comparison. We will be discussing this one when we are discussing about the Indian adolescents, the problems and needs. We will be addressing that, how the inferiority complex come, how the children start comparing. क्योंकि मेरी हाइट ग्रो नहीं हुई है, दूसरे की हो गई है, मैं फेयर नहीं हूँ, दूसरा फेयर हो चुका है, और उसके दाढ़ी आ गई है, मेरी नहीं आई है. So there is a lot of comparison, because growth and development are taking place in everyone. Even parents themselves start comparing the kids. वो देखो अपने भाई को देखो, वो कैसा है, आपको तो इतने रह गए हो. तो इसलिए there is a comparison that's happening, which neither parents nor teachers are able to understand at times. और जो बच्चा होता है, it becomes a sandwich. The child becomes a sandwich between a parent and a child. Sorry, between a parent and teacher. इधर से उसको प्रेशर मिल रहा है, इधर से पेरेंट्स का मिल रहा है, उधर से टीचर का मिल रहा है. वो बेचारा बीच में पिस के रह जाता है, इसे. और जो उसकी ग्रोथ और डेवलपमेंट होनी भी होती है, वो भी रुक जाती है. Because there is a lot of pressure coming. It becomes a more of a pressure cooker. Kind of thing, both the sides. All right. So I hope it's clear. Now, moving on to the next concept, most traits are correlated in development. As I told, they are interconnected, they are correlated. Generally, it is seen that the child whose intellectual development is above average, so is in health size, sociability, and social special aptitudes. You must have seen the children who are intellectually superior, whose IQ is above average. They also have like their health size, sociability. There are a lot of other features also connected at times. They are also good in other fields as well at the same time. But आपने कई बार ऐसा देखा होगा कुछ बच्चे वो average, below average हैं, but they may be also good at something else. Like if you look at the child, if you've seen the movie Tare Zameen Pe, the child is having a problem of dyslexia, where he was having problem recognizing letters. He was having the mirror image where he was saying the letters ups and down, but his other part of the functioning was good. So that means they are correlated. Either it can be you can have having a higher intellectual, you will have a higher capabilities, but sometimes you have higher intellectual, but your performance does not show that in your academics. Are we together? So we don't have to go beyond academics. If we really need to know the child, if we really know wants to know the growth and development of the child, we really know, we should know about their process of growth and development. What has happened, time when the child was growing up. you know so next moving to the next point. Growth is complex. All its aspects are closely interrelated. The child's mental development is intimately related to his physical growth and his needs. As I told you, these points are being repeated interchangeably with the words, that how growth is closely interconnected with the development, mental growth and physical growth, how they are interconnected. Sometime when you're having, it is always said that many children who are not having a good physical growth, they are also not mentally sound. You must have seen, when a child is being brought up in the conflicted family, is it, when there is always conflict going on, can you, and they are providing him the best food, best nourishment, best diet is given, but the best environment is not given. Good diet is given, under the healthy diet is given, but the environment of the home is unhealthy. Do you think he will be having good health as well? No, because the food is an energy. Let me tell you, with what intention you have a food is also very important. It applies to you also. Sometime when your mood is upset, you have the food, that negative energy is translated into your food, and the food that you have, it causes you digestion problem and lot of other stomach ache, और कभी कोई infection हो गया, कभी food poisoning हो गई. Is it? So your mentality, your mental development, the environment has to do a lot to do with the physical growth and the changes that are happening in your body. Are we clear, guys? So are we together? Yes, I see a thumbs up. Okay. So growth is a product of interaction of the organism and environment. Among environmental factors, one can mention nutrition, climate condition in the home, and the type of social organization also matters. I think I've already explained this one in the previous word. What are things? Factor, you have a topic in the beard also, no? Factors influence, environmental factors affecting learning, is it? Influencing learning of the student. So there is an environment. So here I would like to explain to you a beautiful concept which I teach to my other students. It is a nature and nurture. Nature and nurture are two different things. Nature is connected with your biological, your body, your genes, your heredity, and the nurturing is connected with the environment, the climate condition in the home, the social organization. Is it? So they are the one that makes a change. That's the reason one of the great psychologists once said, you give me 1 dozen of children, I will make them what I want to make them. If you want me to make them robbers, I will make them. If you want to make them the scientist, I will make them. How? By changing their environment, by changing their climate condition at the home, the kind of giving them the environment. Now, I'm not boasting here, but again, I'm just, taking the example of my own daughter. I think Dr. Lalit has witnessed it with his own eyes, because he comes to my house and my office quite often. About 2 or 3 days in the week he's here. So he sees my daughter, So I see that what kind of environment we have given to her. We have not exposed to the phone, first of all, which is the biggest disease today. I would say that the children, the parents, in order to get rid of children, अपनी थोड़ी पीस ऑफ माइंड के लिए उनको फोन दे देते हैं. बाहर शॉपिंग के लिए ले जाओ, बच्चा पीछा नहीं छोड़ रहा, फोन दे के बिठा दो, आप अपनी शॉपिंग कर लो. इज इट? किचन में बच्चा तंग कर रहा के उसको फोन पकड़ा दो, तो हमारे पास जो अलादीन का चिराग है आज के टाइम में हमारे पास, जिससे हमारी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स ठीक हो जाती हमारे बच्चों की फॉर द टाइम बीइंग, वो है हमारा फोन. इज इट? सो दैट इज सो दैट काइंड ऑफ, बिकॉज पिछले 1 2 3 4 साल हम उसको देते हैं, जब उसका स्कूल जाने का टाइम फिर हम उसको छीनते हैं. पहले खुद ही हम हैबिट डालते हैं और बाद में उसको हैबिट को हमें चेंज करना नहीं आता है. सो इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, आई वुड से. उसके लिए कहते हैं ना कि सैक्रिफाइस पहले खुद करना पड़ता है. माय वाइफ डिड द सैक्रिफाइस फॉर 2.5 years. नाउ इवन आई डोंट टॉक, अभी मेरे पास, मैं उसके साथ अपना टाइम स्पेंड कर रहा हूँ. आई विल नॉट बी यूजिंग माई फोन, आई विल कीप माई फोन असाइड. हमने उनको ऐसा शो किया अपनी बेटी को कि फोन इज नॉट समथिंग इंपॉर्टेंट इन आवर लाइफ. अभी डॉक्टर ललित जब कोई भी आता हमारे घर पे, उनके फोन यहाँ टेबल पे पड़े होते सामने. वो उसका कभी ये नहीं कि वो फोन के वहां हमारे पास खेलती रहेगी, बट शी विल नॉट गो एंड टच द फोन. अदरवाइज इफ यू सी द किड्स टुडे, दे आर सो मच इनटू द फोन कि किसी और का भी फोन पड़ेगा, दे विल स्टार्ट एक्सप्लोरिंग. इज इट? So that's the environment. उस वजह से क्या हुआ, and we have given her anything, उसको कुछ भी watch करना है, she wants to see something. What we do, we have connected our smart TV with our Wi-Fi. We play and give her what we want to show her, not that something that she wants to see it. So we have only shown the things that we want to give her, that how she should be supported in her learning. Now she can speak a lot of sentences in English, just being in 2 years and 9 months, very fluently, with good accent. She sings English songs, now itself. The kind of conversation she has is completely different, which sometimes I even get surprised. अदर लोग, दूसरे लोग तो सरप्राइज होते हैं, मगर ये क्यों हुआ? बिकॉज वी हैव चेंज द एनवायरमेंट. हमने क्लाइमेट ही उनको उसको डिफरेंट दिया एट होम. The only thing we talk about at home, either we talk about word of God, we talk about our business, there is no negative talk. And me and my wife also have changed our language, the way we speak to each other, because we know that whatever the language we speak, she will learn it. I'm not talking about the language कि हमने अपनी भाषा change कर ली. I'm talking about the kind of words, very soothing words, very gentle word we use, so that everything she's picking up being around us. So that matters a lot. मैं हमेशा पेरेंट्स को बोलता हूँ कि अगर आपने सुख का जीवन जीना है आने वाले टाइम में, तो पहले 6 से 10 साल डेडिकेटेडली अपने बच्चों को दे दो. नहीं तो पहले 6-7 साल आपने दिए नहीं, बाद में उसको कंट्रोल किया, तो वो बच्चा 6 साल से पहले भी आपके लिए हेडेक था, 6 साल के बाद भी आप 60 साल के हो जाओगे, तब भी वो बड़ा होकर आपको तंगी करता रहेगा. So that is very important. Either we invest. That's the reason I always talk about having a child is like you're getting married. Same responsibility, it's huge. I hope this is very much clear. I have explained to you with a lot of examples, with my own examples, because I feel this is what touches you more than what is on the slide. जो slide पे है वो तो book में भी है, you can read it, but I am trying to give the experience for my own life. That's something, because I always I don't teach people, I try to share my experience, because people learn more from the experience than from the information. Are we together? So now there is moving to the next principle. There are wide individual differences in growth. Individual difference in growth are caused by heredity, environment, which I have already told you, nature and nurture. Okay, heredity is the nature, and nurture is the environment where you are being brought up. Growth is both quantitative and qualitative. They are both qualitative. They're inseparable. Grow in size and grows mature in the structure. Size भी बढ़ रहा है, उसका structure बढ़ रहा है, उसका function भी बदल रहे हैं. Development is predictable. Or sorry, 1 minute. So development is predictable, it's possible for us to predict at an early age the range within which the mature development of the child is likely to fall. However, mental development cannot be predicted with the same degree of accuracy. All right. So now I want to show you here. These are the stages of psychosocial development given by Erik Erikson. Erik Erikson has given their various infant, toddler, preschool, grade school, teenager, adult, middle age, older adults. So it is shown here when the child is infant, उस टाइम के उसके अंदर क्या डेवलप होता है? ट्रस्ट वर्सेस mistrust. Are we together? Trust versus, that means if you are, it is up to you कि आपने बच्चे के अंदर क्या डेवलप करना है, कि do you want to develop the trust that the child trusts everyone or he is mistrusting everyone. Second stage कौन सी है? toddler, when वो थोड़ा सा करना toddle करने लग जाता है. Then autonomy versus shame and doubt. If you are making the child independent or making the dependent, this is a time where the child develops a lot of shame and doubt about himself. Now next one is a preschool. It is a time where the child either learns to take initiative or he is guilty. Whether you have induced in him to take initiative or he is being guilty about it. Industry versus inferiority. This is a stage. That's the grade schooler where the child either puts himself at the back, having that introvert personality, feeling inferior, or he goes forward and an extrovert person to reach out. Next, identity versus role confusion. This is a time where they have, because this time they develop either identity crisis or role confusion. So we need to give them the direction on that. Then talks about intimacy and isolation. This is time where they develop intimate relationship. Either they are building intimate relationship or they are in the isolation, in the loneliness. Generativity is stagnant. So this is again the stage where they get stuck, static, or they remain dynamic. They have generativity. Their creativity is grown. The next one is the last one, when you become older adult. So these are the stages from your infancy to the older adult. So the complexity, so increase in complexity. जैसे जैसे फेस बढ़ता जा रहा है वैसे वैसे कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी भी बढ़ती जा रही है. बट वो डिपेंड करता है कि अगर हम बच्चों को उनके ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर प्रॉपर फोकस कर लेंगे उनके इनिशियल ईयर्स में, लेट मी टेल यू दैट्स द फाउंडेशन. Your life is sorted then. All right. So I hope the topic is very much clear. The growth and development topic. I have completed the topic growth and development, and I think the same. If you, I have the same book that you are following of the notes that you're having. Which the sir has told you to buy it. There are characteristics of growth given here. There are 10 points. You can get it. This can come in the 10 marks question where you can talk about the star. When they talk about the characteristics of growth, you can talk about all these 10 points which are mentioned in the book. Structure and physiological, external, physical, stops at certain age. All those things are mentioned here. Characteristics of development also are given 10. So I think 10 each. So it's a 10 marks question that you can get. Define meaning, meaning, definition, and characteristics of growth and development. You have to write 10 if you really want to get the good marks. All right. So this is clear. Now we can discuss this topic if you have any clarification. I hope this topic is clear. If not clear, please do let me know.
So topic is cleared very much.
Very much clear. Any doubt left? कोई गुंजाइश तो नहीं रह गई?
No doubt.
मैं कोई डाउट की गुंजाइश तो नहीं अभी?
No, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, this was here.
Sir, Deepika. Sir, can you send the PPT?
PPT?
Yes.
But I think same ये PPT इसी से बनाई गई आपकी, ये जो आपका नोट्स दिए गए ना,
Okay, sir. Okay.
This is taken from the book. I have prepared this PPT out of this book, same,
Okay, sir.
which is available at the nearby stores, all the information taken from here.
Okay, sir.
PPT is
Thank
having only very limited information, but here it's more descriptive.
Okay.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
In the book, there are no Eric Erickson's stages of development.
नहीं, actually that's not required. वो मैंने सिर्फ आपको थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा देने के लिए समझाई है. That's not the part of the syllabus. वो मैंने सिर्फ आपको थोड़ी आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग एज अ टीचर हमें थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा नॉलेज भी होना जरूरी है ना.
So what
Okay,
about
thank you, sir.
heredity and environment?
कौन सा बोलो?
Heredity and environment.
हेरिडिटी एनवायरनमेंट. 1 minute. उसमें आई थिंक उसके भी फर्दर पॉइंट्स दे रखे हैं ना यहाँ पे. इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ हेरिडिटी एनवायरनमेंट ऑन ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट. इफ यू लुक एट द बुक, है ना, बुक में there is a different points mentioned here like heredity and genes. That's the first point that they have given here in the book. Then the environment, how environment, मैंने उसमें I have covered it, not so vast because it would take a lot of time if I cover here.
Yes,
Then
sir. Yes, sir.
and the third point is socio-economic,
Yes, sir.
and the third one is sex,
Yes,
and the
sir.
fifth one is the nutrition, and the
Yes,
sixth
sir.
one is the race, seventh one is the exercise, eighth one is the hormones,
pollution,
population, learning and reinforcement. So these are 10 points which you can write if the question comes, growth and development, and talk about the influence of heredity environment on growth and development. Then you can write down this 10 points. Fine. So make
Okay,
sure that you write the 10 points for each of the question if you want to get the good marks, because it's going to be a lengthy question of 4 to 5 pages you got to write. तो उसके लिए अगर आप 2-3 पॉइंट लिखोगे तो you won't be able to cover up. So make sure you will make good 10 points, underlined, double, which is so that it's visible to the people who is checking the paper. बीच में आप जो लिख रहे हो that doesn't matter, मगर पॉइंट सही होने चाहिए.
okay, sir.
ठीक है. So I hope this topic is clear. Sister
Yes, sir.
Josephine.